All these rejections from the middle Bollinger Band.
Resistance we're going to need.
If you actually see here, we get
And we'll look for a healthy higher
I
low.
would not
don't have
be
the
eager
whole
to
vibe.
enter long trade.
Party time for the bulls. We're going to look at Bitcoin, the shorts, GBTC, some of the Bitcoin, or I should say crypto stocks going wild today with the break. Ethereum, Litecoin, BCH. We're sticking with the major names. All coins are following along, but Bitcoin is clearly the leader on this move. And in my opinion, that shows to a certain degree the pricing in of the potential of an ETF. So I do believe that that has an effect psychologically on the market as something to look forward to in the next 3 weeks. So again, we're keeping our eye on that date, and congrats to the bulls for this play. So we're going to start it off here with the SEC list. Remember, I posted that a few days ago. These were the comments in the first couple weeks, and then we get to July 11th when we posted that video, and look at you all showing up in a big way. July 11th had pretty much more than as many comments, over 100% increase. And there's articles being written. There was an article that said, you know, the SEC is getting flooded with positive comments on this proposal. So it does have an effect to a certain degree. If nothing, it's just gaining more attention on the potential for an ETF. So props to everybody that followed those steps highlighted in that video and left their comment. So Bitcoin, that's a beautiful candle. And there is the volume. So we have changed the trend on the daily time frame. We have our low quintuple top at 6,800s, our higher low inside bar bull break, and then here is the big time follow through. So what had us looking very confidently that this break was going to happen this week? You can look at the video yesterday where I explained every reason why, but it was the volume from yesterday on Bitfinex, the highest 4-hour bull volume in 2.5 months. Volume precedes price. And we'll show some of these alerts at the end of the video, and abnormal volume was the best indicator for letting us know that the bull move was coming. So significant follow through. One thing I want to point out with, I gave the potential 3 scenarios. I think at this point it was a week ago. After we started pulling back here 8 days ago, I gave the potential 3 scenarios of what is most likely to play out. And I said the most likely scenario was a lower high and then a higher low because I didn't think the bulls would be able to make a 10% move, then break resistance and get the follow through. Obviously, the middle scenario, the bullish reversal, inverse head and shoulders pattern has played out at this point. And what I want to point out is a lot of people that don't understand trading and technical analysis would look at that and say, oh, you were wrong. When in reality, still making significant profit because of the ability to adapt and to be agile and to change our opinion. So as soon as I saw that volume yesterday, I switched and said, all right, the most likely scenario now that I have more information, is going to be the bull break. So profiting really nicely on that swing trade position. And again, I'm not touching my swing trade position until the daily higher low pattern is lost. I'm looking to consolidate on the daily time frame sometime starting today or tomorrow. And we'll look to just form a healthy higher low in the low $7,000 range because I'm looking for this weekly chart to see follow through. Keep in mind, this weekly chart is still in a downtrend. Anything under 10,000 is a lower high. So in my opinion, we're going to set a lower high on this bull move on the weekly time frame compared to 10,000 unless there is an ETF approved. That's the scenario that we could just shoot right through into 5 digits again and break that resistance level. So if we don't get that news, going to be watching for a lower high. The more significant this weekly bounce, the higher we go, the more likely that we get a higher low on that consolidation or the attempt to change the trend. So I'm still keeping the longer term perspective, and we're still going to be watching cautiously, knowing that the lower highs are still intact. On this move, I'm expecting a move at least up towards 8,000, not necessarily, tomorrow, but just looking at this weekly chart over the coming couple weeks. And I'm going to just break it up into from now until August 10th is what we're going to be watching before that decision. And I do expect it to head up towards 8,000 up in that time frame. And look at the volume. Doesn't stand out right now, but that's only because there's 2 trading days so far in the week. We have 5 more trading days, and we already have more than half of last week's total volume. That's very notable. We are going to see a break of this declining volume pattern, and it's going to be a big volume week favoring the bulls. So that is notable as well. Short-term time frames, the 4-hour RSI is through the roof. Look at that volume on the 4-hour time frame. Huge bull volume. Hourly chart, RSI is extremely overbought, over 80. And we're just now seeing some healthy consolidation, 15-minute consolidation at this point. Sentiment has shifted. I made a tweet today. It has probably going to be the most liked tweet that we've ever made before. So sentiment has shifted in this space for now. And a lot of people, again, are excited about the potential for an ETF. And the fact that we broke bullish is going to have people thinking, a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit more likely that that ETF does get approved. So I'm going to remain skeptical on that ETF. I would love to see it approved. It is absolutely possible, but I'm not going to position myself assuming that it is going to. I'm going to position myself to benefit if it is, but not going to assume. So what we're doing now is completely shifting everything that we did for the bears the last 2 months. We're now going to do for the bulls. So we're looking at 15-minute exponential supports. If we lose 15-minute exponential support, we zoom out to the hourly and watch those exponential supports. If we lose those, we zoom out to the 4-hour. So every shorter-term time frame is looking to maintain an uptrend, and we're going to use these exponential moving averages as our guide. Bitcoin on the daily, look at the cross that's occurring. We're going to get this cross for the first time since the April move of these exponential moving averages, and the weekly time frame, this bull MACD cross, we're going to have to see a move up into the mid 8,000s, in my opinion, to get that bull cross to follow through. Probably going to see a lower high. These lines are going to be right on top of each other, and it's going to require the weekly trend change to get that cross to follow through. So those are all things we're keeping an eye on still. We could see healthy consolidation overnight tonight, and it would be no big deal. The 4-hour little bull flag that formed last night, I was looking for a bull flag on the daily time frame, potentially only lasted 2 hours, or I should say 2 candlesticks of 4-hour consolidation, and then we got the huge follow through. So again, still holding my position. Look at what the stocks did today. Actually, let's go to shorts first. So I'm surprised the shorts have not covered more. We're down at the low of 2 days ago, and shorts, you can see here, it's not as straightforward as this, but just to keep it simple, anybody that opened a short between essentially, let's just call it July 5th and July 14th, so 9 days of shorts opening up, these people are all in the red. They are in a losing trade position, and they're going to have to cover at some point, especially if we keep going up. So I would have expected on that bull break and the follow through that we saw, 10% follow through on that break of that resistance, I would have expected this short number to plummet and break below 2,000 or 21,000 to lower lows. Yet here we are, still a couple thousand to go before we would drop down to that low of a level. And I think there's still potential that shorts could be getting themselves into some trouble here. Obviously, we are very extended on the shorter term timeframes, the hourly and the 4-hour, but very curious to see that if we do get another leg up, when are these shorts going to start being forced to cover with, liquidation and significant red positions? So we'll see what kind of consolidation we get on Bitcoin overnight on the 4-hour time frame. At this point, healthy consolidation, ideal levels for the bulls to hold. 7,000 would be just ideal. So let's just put a line there and see what that would visually look like. We can consolidate a long way and still be just fine on the 4-hour time frame, holding that 7,000 mark. Daily time frame, 7,000 would be a nice level. Exponential moving averages are going to be catching up for the rest of the week after this bull cross follows through. Increasing bull volume, very notable. Last time we saw increasing bull volume was the April bull move on the weekly chart. So bulls in full control. GBTC, we got that clue yesterday of the bulls increasing the premium of the price of GBTC compared to Bitcoin all of the second half of the trading day, and we closed at the high of the day. And it said psychologically that says bulls are expecting this break to happen and they don't want to miss it overnight. So it didn't happen overnight. It happened during the trading day, but significant follow through. There's a couple other things to point out, and Julian from the chat room pointing this out, but gold just broke a really key weekly support. So not saying it's related, but it's worth noting. If I can type it here. So gold, dollar, XAU, USD, look at the weekly time frame. Look at these clear higher lows on this uptrend. Higher low, and it just broke. So this is significant. And if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we can see the uptrend has been broken. So we had a high of the bull bounce, a low, lower high, and now we've lost some of these higher lows. So the bears are in control of gold. It is not acting as a safe haven. It doesn't need to act as a safe haven as the market is heading towards all-time highs. The stock market, bulls still in complete control of the market. But look at Riot today. Riot is a scam company, in my opinion. It's got dilution. It's not favorable for anything other than short-term trades. Look at this short squeeze. We had a triple top of resistance at 481, and we shot up 40% today, up to 660. Huge follow-through, and an opportunity and a reminder that there are ways to profit on crypto. Here's another one, Hive, Canadian name. And these are just blockchain companies. Here's the daily chart, very similar to Bitcoin, higher low, higher high, big bull volume, huge day here. This was about a 25% bull move. And there's a handful of names. OSTK is another name that has exposure to crypto, huge day there. NVDA has some exposure with the mining equipment, big day there. So overall, tons of bullish upside on a lot of these names. There's a whole list of them. Grow is another one. Look at the bull volume on Grow. And the percentage gains in these names, I mean, Riot going 40%, way more opportunity than the cryptos themselves. So we have to be looking all over the place. MARA is another one. Huge bull moves. Let's get to the other names. Ethereum. So we highlighted how Ethereum and BCH were just about in the same position as Bitcoin, just as strong. We were looking for Bitcoin to break bullish on the daily first, for Ethereum and BCH to follow, and for Litecoin to be last. And that's how it all played out. So here's the clear bull break on increasing bull volume. Next resistance, 540, 740. Bulls in full control. Any consolidation on the daily for all of these names, we're going to look for a higher low to form. And the 4-hour chart, RSI overbought here, but not as overbought as Bitcoin. So that's worth noting, the hourly RSI and the 4-hour RSI. We have hourly inside bars to be watching on Ethereum. I'd say ideal consolidation to form a higher low would hold 485 for the bulls here on Ethereum. And we have exponential support. Look at the 4-hour exponential support holding this morning and leading to continuation. And it held back here as well. So keep an eye on exponential 4-hour supports. No cross on these exponential moving averages on the daily yet. That's going to take a couple more days here for Ethereum. And the weekly chart, we're looking for an equilibrium here on Ethereum with our low, high, higher low now very convincing at 404. And we're going to look for a lower high depending on how high the bulls make their move. But over the coming weeks, looking for a lower high somewhere in the potentially the 600s. Just visually, that's where I would look for it. But obviously, we're going to be correlated to Bitcoin to a certain degree. So that's going to have an impact as well. Litecoin, clearly the weakest name on the daily chart. So here's our low, high of the bounce, higher low, and look at our double top. So we haven't even broken daily resistance, yet we look at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's daily resistance, we clearly smashed, and we moved 10% over. So if Litecoin were as bullish as Bitcoin, we would have seen a move to $99. 10% less of a bull move, and here we are forming a double top. So $90 is resistance. We did just barely break it, but only by 7 cents. After $90 is 101.65. Again, highlighted how I personally would have no interest in being in Litecoin for this reason. There's better potential trades out there, better gains to be had. So keeping a close eye to see if we reject from here and stay within this equilibrium pattern. BCH following through with Bitcoin, and we've got the low, high of the bull move, higher low, and now the higher high. Next resistance level up at 930. 4-hour consolidation, what would be healthy? Anything above 781 at this point. So I would say ideal if the bulls could hold 820. That would keep them very strong. Same thing, watching exponential supports. Just like Ethereum, we've held it this entire bull move. If we were looking at Litecoin healthy 4-hour consolidation, there it is, holding exponential support. I'd say 86 would be ideal to hold. And these are all just visually, if I were looking at the chart and seeing how much consolidation, that's what I would want to see for the bulls to hold. So that's where we stand on all these names. And 15-minute, very healthy Bitcoin consolidation still. 4-hour exponential moving averages will be on watch. And there are no red flags at this point. Hard to imagine increasing bear volume occurring at any point on the longer-term time frames, hourly or 4-hour chart. And again, let's look at the volume here on different exchanges. So Bitfinex, daily volume increasing. It's going to be the highest daily bull volume. Let's see, 34,000. Highest daily bull volume since April. So we're getting a lot of, first bull or highest bull since April scenarios. And that's when April saw significant gains to the upside. So we'll see if this keeps up. And again, we are looking for lower highs compared to April unless there is an ETF decision thrown in there. So here's some of the alerts that we're going off. Again, volume precedes price. And I've talked about the 3 market cycles for Bitcoin where we went raging bull all 2017. Very aggressive profit taking in shorts, but also very aggressive bulls buying of the dip where 4-hour oversold climaxes were money on the alert system. And now we're in the third market cycle, which is a lot more choppy, a lot of wicks and a lot of fake outs. But the abnormal volume has been the indicator that has been giving heads ups. So here's the 15-minute Bitcoin chart for GDAX, no longer GDAX, but Coinbase, where we have, these black candles, and this is our beta version of the new website that's going to be coming out. People currently testing it, not ready for widespread distribution just yet, but these arrows indicate on the chart where the alerts went off for abnormal volume. So it happened at 12 noon, it happened at 2 p.m., and these are different times in my East Coast time, but it happened 3 times before the bull break and huge volume actually happened. And here's the 15-minute price shear. And we adjusted the 15-minute price shear settings and the inputs where it used to trigger at 3%. We dropped that down to just over 1% to adjust to the market changing environment. Because again, if you're not changing your trading style and your trading signals with the changing market cycles, you're going to be one step behind. So shifting to a faster reaction had this price shear alert go off at just under 6,800. And then obviously we got the huge follow through. Another alert here, this was Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame, and actually it's just that price shear. And here's the 30-minute time frame, abnormal volume. That alert went out again about an hour and a half before the actual bull volume poured in. And you can see that half-hour little bull spike in volume with the initial accumulation before the huge follow through. So alert system abnormal volume right now is the best indicator. And in a few months, once this weekly trend changes, or once we get some more significant shift in the market cycles, we will be looking for different alerts to give better heads ups. So that's where we stand for now. Keep in mind also that, remember back when we were raging bulls, the 5-minute time frame, the first time we hit oversold on the 5-minute after a raging bull breakout is usually a good buying opportunity. Let's see if that happens again. If the 5-minute RSI drops to oversold on consolidation, I'll be watching to see, is that signal now good for re-entries in the uptrend? Another thing I want to point out, last thing here before we wrap it up, Canadian MJ. So let's not lose sight. The Canadian MJ, if you've been watching for a year and a half and you're an OG viewer, we were talking about Canadian MJ being a really good opportunity as crypto was coming to a top at the end of last year. So we were topping out in crypto, and look at the fall here and the fall into the winter and into the new year. Canadian MJ has just been on fire. Look at the daily charts for Canadian MJ the last few days. We are losing the uptrend and we're seeing more prolonged consolidation, and there's nothing fundamentally expected for Canadian MJ until about October when the doors open for first recreational sales. So I'm noticing this inverse correlation where traders like myself, high risk traders that love volatility, they're jumping back and forth. When MJ's popping off, I traded crypto the last 2 months. I probably traded Canadian MJ 5 times as much as crypto. Now that we got this bull break and now that we've got a bit of a shift, I'm probably going to be trading crypto a lot more than Canadian MJ as Canadian MJ pulls back. So it is interesting to note the clear, bear break and the clear bull break on crypto occurring at the same time. And even just watching our chat room with, hundreds of traders, there are people that are moving funds around. They're moving funds from their stock accounts back to their crypto accounts to reflect the changes in these trends. So I appreciate you all watching. Continue to do good things out there. We're going to wrap up the videos here. Got some more goats and some more chickens. And we'll see you tomorrow after some likely healthy consolidation. If the bulls get continuation of Bitcoin into tomorrow, that's obviously, any further upside we get, the better. But also healthy consolidation is just fine as well. Cooling off the 4-hour RSI back down a bit certainly would not scare any of these bulls. So appreciate you watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Single file.